Hi, my name is Kristin, and I am the Director of Training for the DART Network. But before that, I was in Jacksonville, Florida at the DART affiliated organization iCare, and I was there for 8 years. And during my time there, we worked on a campaign to get restorative practices in schools. And I'm really excited to hear that you guys in Laura's, Kansas are doing that campaign as well. It was so rewarding to me and the leaders in the Jacksonville area. And it was exciting to see the transformation in the schools. One thing that we learned during that process, and really I already knew from my experience in public schools myself, but we learned it from stories from students and teachers and parents, that Black kids are treated horribly unfairly in our school system. Black kids are much more likely to be suspended than white kids. And when they are punished, they're punished much more severely for the same offenses that white children do. For example, we heard a story about two kids who broke into their school and went up to the rooftop to drink a beer, and only the Black child was suspended, not the white child. Right? And stories like that make me angry because I have my own experiences with that imbalance. And so, when we look at suspension rates in our society, kids that are suspended are twice as likely to drop out of school. And if they drop out of school, they're extremely likely to get stuck into the criminal justice system. And that's a system that is almost impossible to get out of once you're in it. But there's a glimmer of hope, and we found that hope in Jacksonville, and that's restorative practices. Restorative practices is a opportunity for healing and getting to the root cause of why kids are misbehaving, not just getting around suspensions. And so although it does reduce suspensions, it really gets to the root cause of why kids are struggling. And so in Jacksonville, we had a 3-year fight where we ended up winning 180 schools implementing restorative practices. At the time, it was the largest implementation of restorative practices in the state. And suspensions dropped by 25% after that implementation started. And, even though 180 schools were doing it, all of the middle and high schools, or at least most of them, were actually doing the program and training peers. And so restorative practices was actually being implemented by fellow students. And what's so powerful about that is you have students holding other students accountable for their behavior, helping them get to the root cause of why they're misbehaving, and then giving them support in the future to help them not go down that bad path again. And so I remember vividly seeing a middle school in a predominantly Black neighborhood that had typically had high suspension rates, and their suspensions were dropping, and they were doing support circles. And I remember seeing 13 and 14-year-old children in a support circle helping other kids process anger. Why are they angry? What tips them off to being angry? What are the coping mechanisms? How can they calm themselves down? And these were peers helping other peers. And I remember just thinking, wow, not only is this helpful for the children that are receiving this peer support, but for the children that were giving the peer support, because they became huge student leaders in their organizations. Some of them even came to our action and spoke. And it was just transformative all around for the kids that were involved. And so that was really exciting to see, but we did have inconsistencies. Although 180 schools did the program, only about half of them did it with real fidelity. And we figured that out because we started forcing the school district to track. And so my biggest advice to you is to make sure there's a strong training program in place and that the school system is tracking how that program is being implemented and how kids are getting into it, and tracking suspension rates in coalition with that, so that you can see how the results are really playing out. And that helped us hold the school district accountable and help the school district hold individual schools accountable for implementation. And I know if you do that, you'll see transformation too in Lawrence. And I'm really excited to hear more about your journey in getting restorative practices in your school district. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nora. I'm a senior at Precinct High School and I'm part of the Restorative Practice Steering Committee.
Hi, I am Donnavan Dillon and I'm a rising senior Florence High School. Within being a citizen of Lawrence, we often view Lawrence as a very progressive area that doesn't battle much with racial disparity issues and issues surrounding race. However, this is not the case, and by better tackling them within our town and our schools, we can better serve our students and community. Being a student of the Lawrence Public Schools Foundation, I have been subject to many of the issues surrounding equity that our district faces. Within our district, we see students of color being represented less in AP classes, honors programs, and arts classes, however, overrepresented when it comes to disciplinary infractions. Within my schedule filled with AP classes and arts classes, I am often the only Black student in the room, and this just goes to show the issues that we still have to face and dismantle within our school district.
So when we're talking about restorative practices, we know that this is going to be a long process. Kind of like what Kristin was talking about before, this is going to take numerous years. It's not going to be a quick overnight thing, but the sooner we start it, the sooner we can implement it. Currently, due to the whole situation that we're in right now, teachers are facing a lot, which has been a concern for many people, but we also have to keep in mind that students currently may be living in some unique situations, and they may come back to school to their new normal with a bit of trauma, and it's important that these teachers know how to approach these situations. So the sooner we implement this in, the sooner we can help these future students and students who are currently facing these issues in our school district. And while both Donnavan and I are seniors, we won't be able to see a lot of this implemented while we're at UC 497. However, we hope we can make an impact for the students in the future.